It was muted there when we were testing. That would do it.
Okay,
Okay.
try it now, and then I'll see if I get any audio from Twitch.
All right. So, wait.
Excuse me.
Excuse you. This is the microphone. This is the audio for the game. And if you're streaming a game, or for us it's stream, it's another application. So, do we want mine up and theirs up? Probably. Yeah, let's try it.
Oh, it's so weird. I'm hearing myself and I'm hearing you. Okay, so here, do me a favor, all right?
Okay.
Anthony?
Yeah.
I want you to say something. Just say something.
Hi.
All right, now we'll wait. I'm
What's
gonna hear if there's a loop.
okay? This time I did mute every. Wait, no, I don't have this muted. Okay, I just muted Twitch for me. Hello again. Another test.
What's that background noise?
An alarm set for 3:30, about 3 o'clock. I mean,
Oh, okay.
it was just Steins music.
Okay. Turn your audio up. Your mic. Turn your mic on the game. On OBS. Turn your mic up just a little bit.
Okay. Testing. Or did you want my normal voice?
I don't hear a loop at all. I'm just hearing the echo from the stream. So what I think we can do, if you're willing,
Okay.
is we can set this up to go over Google Hangouts.
Google Hangouts.
Do you still have Skype up, and can you still message everybody
Yeah.
who's connected with us?
Yes.
Ask them if they're all willing to do it over Google Hangouts, because we found out our issue.
Okay. Yeah, I think it should work. All right.
Whoops.
Whoa, you alright?
Just fell over. It's okay. I only broke all my bones.
Okay, good. Damage quality is great.
Ooh, I wonder how much this is a delay. So if I go, we. Ooh, that's a decent delay. And by that, I not decent as in good, decent as in long.
Okay. Okay, Seb is familiar with G+ Hangout video calls.
I would hope so.
Me too. Yeah, I keep questioning myself. Should I be using a formal tone, or just some kind of mix between formal and my usual tone? I've been going for the latter so far.
I think that's completely reliant on. Yeah, if you want to go for the latter, that'd be fine. I think.
Sweet. Alright, so Catabel said hooray after I said okay, issue solved. Then I said we'll change our setup because Skype is being funky for Joe. Is everybody familiar with G+ Hangouts video calls? Seb said yes, that's 1 out of 3 so far. I said not bad. Seb is typing now. Nothing from the VAs.
Okay.
After that.
Gotcha.
Yep. Oh, were you able to hear me, by the way, on the Twitch
In the
and
call? Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
in the call? Okay, what about on Twitch and YouTube?
Yes.
Sweet. By the way, I had this like saved the file, so I'm gonna have a few videos, quite a bit of data on here. I'll be able to delete later. Uh, Tell you what, before we start, I'm gonna go ahead and change just to make sure I don't have
Yeah,
two
go ahead and
later.
get ready what you can get ready.
Yeah, yeah. See ya. BRB.
Alrighty.
Before I do that, I'm still talking to the VAs real quick. Do you know if Caterbell and Jonathan have G Plus accounts? Or did they just have
Jonathan and
Gmails?
VA both said they were familiar with it when talking with me. I just
Okay.
don't know what they would need to do to get it able to use. So what I'm going to do right now is I am sending them an email.
Okay.
So Hey. Okay, so this is pretty much the pre-stream. Yes, it will happen. It will happen. You will notice there will be a delay from when you type a message in Twitch and I see it. So expect that. But hey, thanks to everyone who's on the Twitch stream right now. I cannot see who's on the YouTube stream, but I will check that shortly. Right now, we are setting up and seeing, if you want to say seeing where we're at with all the people who will be joining us. If all goes well, we'll be joined by 2 of our voice actors and 2 of our developers. And one of them, you'll hear some audio in the background. He's kind of wandering around, if you want to say that, getting stuff ready. And the other 3 people who are here trying to get on the call are not here right now. So just hold out if you can for a little bit, and we'll start shortly. I would put on some pre-stream music for y'all, but currently I'm in no position to do that. We had a hard enough time getting my internet to cope with working just Skype, and it didn't even work with that. So we'll be using Google Hangouts for this. We tried a few other things too. We were going to try Google Hangouts on air, but we'll be using OBS for our streaming simply because I'm unfamiliar with a lot of things on the interwebs. So, yeah. Take that however you want to take it. Apparently, it's a stream from the future. You know, it can be. It's however you want to take it. It's your stream. It's however you want it to be. Twitch is being weird for some weird reason. I'll just set that down. Not much thing else I can do on the banjo. Oh, yes. I do not know the Bob's Burgers theme song, but I do play banjo. Yes, yes. Please watch your profanity on this stream. Don't care if it's something you'd say in your own household. You really want to keep this pretty clean. Thank you for understanding. Because I am already here. Let's go ahead and start some questions. If you can put your questions in the Twitch chat, and I'll answer them as soon as I can, which would probably be right here because I'm watching the Twitch chat right now. The only thing you'll experience is the delay. All right, I am getting the questions now. So, do we have any estimated time of arrival for the release date? We do not at this certain point in time. And the reason I say that is because this is dependent on the Kickstarter. If we go ahead and succeed within our 30-day limit, then we could get it done within the next year or so because we'll be able to hire the staff we need to get it done quickly. If we do not succeed, the game will still come out and it'll still have all the basic stuff we promised, but it will take a lot longer because it'll just be us. It'll literally be me, 3 game developers, and 1 artist. And we'll all be doing this for free on our own time, given we don't succeed the Kickstarter or have a successful Kickstarter. My apologies. So we do not have an estimated time of arrival. I apologize for that. And Iceman says, when can I have my cameo? No, I'm joking. If you donate enough money, we can get you your cameo in there. But by itself, we don't know. Hey, there might be something. Okay, so we have some questions that are not related to the thing. We thank you for asking them, but I will not answer them. Another question. Will there be some comedy, or is it all serious? That, I think, is dependent on how you view it. I will say I have written some segments in there that I honestly think are hilarious. And it will not be all serious. I have not intended for it to be all serious. But that depends on how you look at it. Do you look at The Lord of the Rings as all serious? Because there are definitely some scenes in there that I think are hilarious. But so we will see. We will see. It's, I guess I can say it like this, and I've already stated, it's not intended to be all serious. But if you get, if you're watching it and you're seeing some of the info we're putting out and you're like, man, that just looks too dark, let us know. Because we really want this to be more enjoyable, as it is a story and a game, than for it to just be a sad story people are watching and going like, oh my goodness, like this is deep. I enjoy emotional stuff, but I don't want to make something that's going to have people crying. Well, let's just say crying throughout the whole thing. I have $5. I think it was $3, but I get the joke. Funny joke. Oh yes, the beach photo. The photo at the beach was that was so dark, so horrible looking. I don't know how there could be anything funny in that. Sun damage is serious business. All right, so Anthony is back. You want to introduce yourself, Anthony?
Hey, what's up? I'm Anthony. Seb, you know me, right?
Sebastian.
I'm Sebastian. I'm the lead developer, and right now I'm in charge of the overworld.
Um,
That's good. Anthony, do you want to say what you're in charge of, if you can actually describe that?
well, I'm in charge of the battle system. It's just a basic RPG with the range added into it. So it's gonna be a bit like Paper Mario and Fire Emblem mixed, in my opinion. So you have a little bit of a grid-based system. You have the air and you have the ground. You have a line for each of them. On those lines, you can move your characters. And on the ground, you can move on the sky. Those are only for jetpacked enemies, for now anyways. Okay, so you get to move around on that line. There are a few set spaces.
I do, Mr. Iceman, I do.
Yep, and
I remember you showing me the character. Anyway, okay, yes, we were talking about the battle system.
yeah.
I think, yeah, if we want to go ahead and explain some things rather than just relying on straight up questions, some of the things we can tell you about are how the battle system will work and how it will appear in the demo, which we've got a little bit of technical difficulties on, but for the most part, it will be coming soon. Soon, as in the 14th, if everything goes well. Okay, so sorry about that. We are answering the questions we are receiving. So if you would like to ask any questions, go ahead and do so. If you've already asked all your questions and you're like, oh, I'm all out of questions, share it with your friends. Share the stream with your friends. Paste it all over social media. Slap it on people's back and say, hey, go watch this. And if they can't read what you put on their back, then pull it off their back and put it in front of them and say, no, it's a stream, bro. You got to look at that. Okay, so, and I see we have another question. So, what made you guys want to do a game marketed specifically as a Christian game? That would be for me. That would be a question for me. Now that we have some people on here who can do, we can answer in multiple ways. But this one would be for me because I wrote the story and I chose the demographic. I think it's almost as a sign to say Christian media can be good. I'm not going to insult anybody's work, but there are a lot of movies that have come out recently that have been quote unquote Christian movies, and their quality was just horrible. Anthony, would you mind not playing with the screen and just leaving it on the Hangouts? Just because I think that it helps the situation.
Okay.
It's okay. I'll take care of questions, so it'll be okay. Sorry, back to the Christian thing. There were a lot of Christian media that I looked at and I was like, this is just bad. It's, as far as storytelling goes, there's no depth. It's marketed strictly for Christians, and I'm thinking that is not what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm looking at all this work and I'm saying it's just something's missing. And I've worked with a couple of different groups, Fantasy Soft and Lumendeo, and through my time with them, I realized we kind of had this vision to make really good Christian media. And it's not just for Christians. This project is strongly Christian, and that's obvious. But that doesn't mean we won't make stuff that could be like what Lord of the Rings did, where it just has some Christian undertones, But this game specifically being marketed as a Christian game, it was a story I had. It was an idea I had based off of the end times and Revelations. And I said, I really want to do that. I really want to create that. And upon, if you want to say designing that and writing it out, I said, this is going to be something that more Christians are going to be into than anybody else. So that's why I marketed specifically for Christians. And I didn't say, oh, hey, everybody, look at this awesome game I made. Just looking so good. It's all by me. So I marketed it as a Christian idea, got picked up by Fantasy Soft for it. And we were then the thing. Anthony, would you deal with that? Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
You got it.
We are, okay, if you don't notice, this sounds a little bit unprofessional, but we are having some technical difficulties here, there, and everywhere. This is our first stream, if you want to say that. Hopefully we'll have more in the future. And now that we know what to do, we won't worry about, like, oh no, we got problems. But this is going to be a thing. Hey, not a problem. We're glad to answer any questions. And we're glad to have people as a part of it, from literally from voice actors to artists to people. This is why we really want to meet our Kickstarter goal, because we will have everybody that we promised in from the start, but a good bit of the artists, a good bit of the animators, and a lot of our if you want to say external developers, people that we're reaching out to and saying, hey, we may need your help to do this faster, we won't be able to get if our Kickstarter fails. So, not trying to self-advertise here, but if you can, share that. So, and thank you. All right, we got another one. Kind of been on the back burner on this. Is it going to be point and click or like Final Fantasy? Sebastian and Anthony, do you want to answer that? Do you one of y'all want to take that one?
Well,
Okay, it's going to be kind of like well, right now it's kind of styled like Earthbound, but it seems to be a kind of like a mix of Fire Emblem and it's. I'm not sure totally with the battle system. Anthony would have to answer that for you, but on my end, it's kind of just basic. Uh, there'll be some puzzle mechanics and some abilities that you can perform. Anthony, do you want to expand on the battle system?
Sure. Like I said earlier, it's going to be kind of a mix of Paper Mario and Fire Emblem. Uh, there's bosses I think are going to be a little more interesting than the normal battles, of course. Not only are the bosses going to be powered up, but there might be a few puzzle-based bosses here and there.
I can go ahead
Otherwise,
and release more info on that if you want, just about how the battle system can relate to people who may not have played Fire Emblem.
sure, if you want to go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so just in short, for those of you who have not played Fire Emblem or are not the strategy RPG types, our battle system will pretty much be you'll have a small grid. In this case, it will literally just be kind of a line. It'll be like a column. I don't know how exactly we described it. Maybe a 2x6 grid, pretty much. And the top spaces will be, or would it be 6x2? If you're talking horizontal than vertical, basically it's 2 up and 6 to the right. So you're going to have this grid, and the top spaces will be in air, and the bottom spaces will be on the ground. And the spaces that are on the ground is where our units, your player can move. The spaces in the air and spaces on the ground will also have hazards and obstacles like metal crates, explosive barrels. On the ceiling, you'll have light fixtures. Maybe in some situations, you'll actually have flying animals and flying enemies for that matter. But pretty much what you'll do is how you'll fight a battle is you'll select your character, put them in the space they want to be, given it's their turn. It will be turn-based. You'll select your character, put him in the space you want him to be in if he can reach it, and then have him do an attack. You can attack the other opponents, you can attack the hazards, and different things will affect the area. If you maybe attack an explosive barrel, guess what? It'll explode. And it'll do an area effect attack on the surrounding enemies. If you do, if you attack a like fixture, it could fall and hit an enemy. If you attack an enemy up in the air, it may destroy their ability of having them to fly, and they may fall to the ground, attacking another enemy. So right now for the demo, we won't have a whole lot of, if you want to say, hazards and gadgets and cool things that we hope to have in the final run. But we will try to give a great representation of what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any confusion on that, what I just said, because I'm not the best at explaining, let me know. If it's somebody on the call or if it's somebody in Twitch chat, just let me know. Oh, yes. There was something I forgot to mention. We will not have this in the demo, but we are going to try and implement partner attacks. Now, anybody who's played the Mario RPGs or Paper Mario, stuff like that, they understand action commands and partner attacks. And just to kind of say this in layman's terms, what we're going to allow you to do is if you're on a space with another unit, because you will have 4 people at a time, if you're on a space with another unit who's a friend, then what you can do is you can do an attack with that unit where those 2 units will pair up and do a devastating attack against the foes. And all attacks will be different. We're going to have different classes. We're going to have our swordsman, our marksman, our caretaker, and our brawler. And a mix between these, you'll get different combinations. You put a swordsman and a marksman together, they may do some cool attack that uses swords and guns. If you put a caretaker and a brawler together, they may do some weird attack where they're throwing each other around the stage. But either way, it should be really fun, and you'll have the ability to do little action commands within those, so to make it as strong as you want it to be. All right, so I think we're officially started. We were before, but we're We're having some technical difficulties. What I can ask for all our viewers right now is that you go to your social media and you share for our cause, because we are poor saps who cannot even muster the mustard. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna start sharing it out. If you guys want to share it out as well, we'd be most appreciative. We'll be good to go. Also, we have our Twitter up. I have Twitter up. If you guys want to say anything there, you can ask a question, and with the hashtag LOTDQnA. I don't know if there is case sensitive, but I have put it as all caps, and I don't think hashtags are case sensitive. So just LOTDQnA, all one word. It's not even a word, but should be good to go. So we'll answer what questions we see in the chat and on Twitter, and we're streaming this to YouTube, right?
Yep.
I do not
Yay.
have that up. I will open that up because if I see any questions there, we'll answer them off of that. I do again apologize if we do take some time to get to your questions. There is a delay on the stream, and my computer is slower than a Buick with 2 wheels ripped off of it right now. So I see another Twitch question. Said, if this goes well, you want it to potentially lead into a series, and that I can't say right now, simply because I don't know. I would want to think if it goes really well, yes, I would love to have multiple, titles in a Last of the Disciples series, but I am not, 100% sure that. Well, and as I say, I know it's just kind of a rhetorical question, but I'm not 100% sure it will go really well. So I haven't written anything for potential other games. I'll say this right now, as odd as it sounds, I kind of closed off the ending. I can't tell how that ending goes, obviously, but I will say that I closed it off. It's pretty, here's the facts, here's what happens, game over, kind of thing. And so I don't know how we would open up to a sequel. If the game goes extremely well, we may split it up itself. We may take this story that we have now and just divide it up into a chapter thing, almost like Telltale does. And it could open up thousands of possibilities. But the concept of it just being a series in general, we don't know. We'll see if it goes well. Thank you for that question. Another question. Do you think the series will go on so far as to be on some consoles or strictly PC? Well, you're going to hear this from me a lot, relying on the Kickstarter. And so I'm just not going to say that anymore. Always expect an implied reliant on the Kickstarter in my sentences now. We do not want to have it strictly on PC. We want to have it on a bunch of consoles. In fact, we're considering also a mobile development too. And that would be simply because it's a market that is casual, it's open, more people, feel easy. They can just download an app on their phone and say, oh, I could play this game while I'm on the train, People still ride trains? I'm going to say yes.
They do in LA.
Okay. There you go. So with that being said, we don't want it to be just on PC. I would be upset if it just got on just PC, and not, devastatingly upset, but we really want this to stretch out and be a game that appears on 3DS, a PlayStation, hopefully Nintendo's new console, if anybody y'all have been keeping up to date on that. And Xbox even. I personally own an Xbox, so I don't, I'm not saying I'm. Yes, what was that, Sebastian?
Just to say, I am currently officially a third-party developer. So if we do receive the funding from the Kickstarter successfully, we'll be able to afford a development kit, and we can pretty much guarantee that it will be on Nintendo consoles.
Right. Yeah, we have everything pretty much set up. Once again, minus the funds, we have everything set up for for development both on Nintendo and PC groups. Nintendo eShop and Steam. So if we go through and succeed, even if we get half of our goal, I think we can still have it developed on Nintendo 3DS. If that 5,000 development cost is met, then definitely. But with half our goal out, we can make sure everything works out right and get it out on the places we need it to be. So does anybody who's in the call right now have any questions directly? I know a lot of you, three of us are developers, but we have one voice actor. Do you have any questions for us regarding the project?
No, actually, I'm good.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. I just sometimes you want to create conversations. All right, I do have a list of questions. So once we get see if any more questions pop up here or there, I will pull up that list and read off of it. Hopefully it'll relieve some people's fears, if they have any fears, or answer questions they might not even know they had. Oh, and would you look at that? Some new people have joined us on our stream. So yeah, they're super pumped for this game, and they're huge fans. Wow, it's great to have some huge fans. I'm sharing it out on social media right now. That's why I may be kind of on and off with the way I am talking. Preoccupied. I apologize for that. But I am making sure to check for any questions. So if you want to go ahead and pull up, there is a doc in Google Drive that says I can pull it up actually. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Any
fine.
chance of a $100 tier? To be honest, not yet. Actually, we were considering moving some of the rewards around simply because $50 to get your name in the credits, that might be a bit much. And we may create one then. But if what you want to do right now is pledge what you can, pledge the amount that you can, and we'll put you with the reward you have currently. And if we change up anything, we'll make sure that you get the proper reward. Now, that being said, we'll make sure to send out a huge warning to everybody, letting know what's going on. But the changes won't be anything too drastic to where it's like, oh, hey, you put your money in for something that's really big. Well, now we've made that up even higher. You won't get it. We'll make sure at the time you pledged, you get whatever you pledged for. But just put in what you can now, and we'll make sure you get everything you can from it. I wanted to go ahead and go over some of the people who will be in this project. Some are reliant on the Kickstarter, but a lot In fact, all of our voice actors are not. So these people will be in the project, whether it's fully funded or not. But definitely having those extra funds helps. So don't like put it as if like, oh, if you've already got these big names and you're paying them, why would you need money from us? Well, no, don't think of it like that. I
I'm
don't
not a
think of
big
it
name,
like that.
trust me.
Hey, quality. That's what I consider big names. If we have quality people like you, then we're good. So, but yeah, so Jonathan Cook, who is here with us, is one of them. And he will be voicing Joseph. So huge thing on that. Yes, I know my name is Joseph. Why haven't I gotten this question yet? I am surprised. This whole thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and share this little story now about the character being named Joseph, happened in the beginning. I am horrible with names. When I'm writing a story, I generally get to the point where I just want to call people male, female, and then like give them numbers. And people be like, so what is this story again? Well, number 2 talks with number 3, and they decide that they want to kill number 1. People looking at me like, just come up with a name. And I told our first concept artist, who was my sister, I said, you know what? I want to go ahead and get some images out for this. Just name the characters off of me and my friends. And I didn't expect her to actually use my name and say Joseph. And I said, oh, that's not what I, okay. And to top it off, and not to say this is necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely shocked me, is she designed the character slightly after me. Now, it doesn't look a whole lot like me, and I'm glad for that.
I can see the resemblance.
But yes, there is a resemblance, and it's funny because so many people in the local parts will look at it and they'll be like, "That's you," and I'm like, "Well, no, it's not me." Really, and they're like, "No, that's you." Like, all right, no getting out of that one.
I personally thought it was a case of Takeshi Katana, if you catch my reference.
We don't talk about the Takeshi Katana game. If you haven't looked that up, oh boy. Anyway, so Joseph, being voiced by Jonathan Cook, you can go to our Kickstarter and watch the video where he explains the character and the world. And so big thanks on him for that. So that's one of our major quality people. We also have Michael Schwab. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that 100% right, but that's how I recall Michael Schwab. And he'll be voicing 3 people, which is pretty big. He'll be voicing Thomas, Nightcaller, and Ross. And these 3 characters, once again, you can see the info about them on our social media. But Thomas is a main character. He's one of the main 4, just as Joseph is. And really glad to have those people. Other 2 people, which I was honestly shocked. I'm going to be honest. I was honestly shocked that we got auditions from them in, was Todd Habercorn and Chris Patton. Now, if you don't know Todd Habercorn, then you have not been keeping up with Funimation. Because this guy is everywhere. My goodness. I watched a show and I was like, hey, I recognize that voice. So I go on IMDb. Why did that slip my mind for a second? I go on IMDb and I look up who voiced this character. I'm like, oh, this is Todd Habercorn. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. And I look at his list of characters he's voiced and I'm like, has this guy not voiced anybody? Holy smokes. He's Spock in the new fan-made Star Trek thing. He's, been in if he's not a main character, he's a side character in practically every English dub I've seen. And I was genuinely shocked to get something from him, but we will have him on the project, which is huge for me. It's, it was a shock for me. And then there's Chris Patton. And Chris Patton, Todd Habercorn will be voicing Aaron. Kind of a computer whiz klutz. He's a very smart person, develops all these machines. His video is not out yet, so that's why I'm explaining this now. Todd Habercorn's video is not out yet on Aaron. But pretty much he creates all these machines, and he's a genius. He has, this programming skill of the world's best hacker, if you want to say that. And he can, mechanical aspect of everything. Mine's going blank. I am so sorry. Give me a second. And so he makes all this stuff, but at the same time, he really doesn't have that much common sense. So, you may be able to put him in a fighting situation. He can wield a gun, but he's not going to be able to protect himself very well, nor does he want to. He's not a fighter. And then there's Chris Patton, jumping from character to actor. Chris Patton was big in Full Metal Alchemist. He voiced Greed, and he's been in a good bit of other things. I'd pull up the list, but my computer is already dying, so I'm not going to try and open up any more tabs. Chris Patton voices Greed, and he'll be voicing Grayson in this project. And Grayson is an if you want to say, ex-Black Ops. He's this really, really well-trained military person with lots of skill in stealth and lethal and non-lethal weapons. Well, when he joins our ex-mercenary team, ex-mercenaries team, he uses that. He puts it to use for good. Anyone. I'm going to keep saying that. He doesn't kill anyone. But, we have an odd team of characters and a great team of actors. Not an odd team of actors. They're great people. Odd team of characters. Great team of actors. We're really hoping that we can succeed in this. Because personally, I want to see it become a thing. And I'm not trying to say that in a vain sense of like, hey, it's going to be so great. But we really do want to show that Christian media can outshine secular media. And I'm not saying that in a competitive way. I'm saying that it really should be that way. It really should be that there shouldn't be a noticeable difference between something that's made by Christians and something that's made by just normal people. All right, so my stream reset. If you had any questions that weren't answered, you typed them in and they did not get answered, you can type them in again now because my stream reset.
There is a question here. One says, how difficult will it be to gaming newcomers and veterans? I know the elite mode is mentioned in the Kickstarter. I'm more talking about the basic difficulty.
I guess I can go ahead and answer that. I know I'm answering a lot here, and you're not getting to hear the voices of these wonderful, wonderful people. But I think that's simply because a lot of stuff we kind of have, if you want to say, under wraps. So there are certain things that can't be answered and certain things that can be. So if it, if it passes through me, it can kind of be like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, I can't answer this. We don't expect the game to be horribly hard. It will have some difficulty. It will even have some difficulty on the lowest level in the normal or story mode. But it would be probably as hard as picking up a new game and just playing it for the first time. Let's give an example here. Final Fantasies, the old ones. They are pretty difficult, but once you go through the tutorial, know how to do stuff, we expect it to be a pick-up-and-play game. It wouldn't be something where you have to devote hours and hours and hours of practice just to be able to defeat a group of enemies. No, it's something that you could pick up, you learn how to do. If you want to be shit through it as fast as you can, or with as much points or whatever, then you can do that. But we're not forcing you to learn the game mechanics thoroughly to be good at the game. Kind of a joke on that, I watch speed runs, and I humorously joke about it, saying, oh, I could do speed runs so well. But these people spend hours and hours and hours learning the game mechanics, learning how the game is programmed, where they cannot do different things, where there are glitches. But for us, we don't want it to be like that. We want it to be, if you want a speed run, sure, go for it. But if you're just a casual player, just pick up the game. You can play it. If you're having any trouble, I'm sorry. You can practice. A good thing you mentioned that. I see a question about grinding. There will not be necessary grinding. You will not, have to grind to get through the game right. We're going to try and balance it to where, just going through the game casually, you'll level up the right way, and the enemies will level up the right way, so that it's not super easy or super hard. Excuse me. But if you do grind, and this is your choice, if you do want to be the guy who practices a bunch and gets a lot of the XP, you could become pretty powerful. Now, that would be your choice once again, because that would probably take many hours and a lot of time and a lot of useless wasted time. No offense. We love our video game. Go outside, take a break, read the Bible, go to church, do stuff that socializes, go talk with your friends. Don't sit inside and play video games all day. Take this from somebody who's experienced it. It's not good. But if you really do want to put those extra hours in, and if you want to grind it, we'll make it to where you get something for it. You will be rewarded for grinding, but to go back to the question, it's not necessary. You don't have to do it.
I think we're kind of shooting for the Mario and Luigi RPG games again, where it's like you can just keep progressing and progressing. Grinds balance so perfectly.
Right. We will have caps. We will have, once you get to this point, you won't get any more XP and your powers won't get any stronger. But it will not be a matter of like, oh, yeah, you can only level up when the game wants you to. It'll be like, well, if you want to stay behind, in the first prologue chapter and level up to 100, be my guest. You'll spend too much time with it, but be my guest. I'm checking social media right now for some questions, and if not, I'm going to jump to these pre-written questions, which should answer some of the smaller worries we had. Once this stream is over, it will be up on YouTube, and what I'm going to try and do is take that video and cut it down and just focus on the answers and questions from it. So that way, if you want to share it with your friends later and say, hey, I asked a question on this, and they answered it, maybe you have the same question, you can show them the video, and you won't have to worry about a bunch of dead air and my bad puns throughout the whole thing. Yes, if you do close stream and you come back, you will lose the previous chat. You won't be able to see that. But let's hope that's not a huge issue for this. If there are any questions, the people who have the chat up currently should be able to look back and tell us about that. So, here's a good question. When is the demo coming out? I don't know if I said this already. I think I did. April 14th. Now, we did have a couple of technical difficulties about, getting some different parts, putting things together. But our date is still the 14th. We are going to attempt to meet that date our hardest. We are going to push and push and push. But everything's practically ready. There's some art assets we're missing. And I think we're good on sound. But the demo will be coming out the 14th. I ramble, and I apologize for that. 14th, there's your answer. If it doesn't come out on the 14th, you may send me many angry emails, and I probably deserve it. Another big question I got, and I kept getting this on social media from people messaging me on Facebook, from certain people just asking on the Kickstarter itself, is how does the game address other religions? And I answered it like this. I said, the game is strongly focused on Christianity. And I said, while other religions are mentioned, we're not going to bring them into this light like we are Christianity. We're not going to put any other religions down. We're not going to bash them. We're not going to say, anything that isn't inside what our Bible says. But on the same side, we're really not going to even focus on them. They are mentioned, and that's about it. Christianity is the only one that we focus on, quote scripture from, and tell a lifestyle about. I know a lot of people were concerned about that because they were thinking, well, if it's Christianity, is it going to bash Islam? Is it going to bash Judaism? And no, it will not at all. We're going to say what our book says, and we're going to do what our book has told us to do. What God has told us to do. And I'm not trying to say this as, oh, I'm some high, mighty religious person, but I'm saying we're not going to put down other people. We're not going to put down our beliefs. We will tell you what we believe. We will tell you what we know. But we're not going to say what you're doing is wrong. I mean, it may be. We may hold that in our heart to be true, but we're not going to tell you that straight out. And our game definitely will not say, yeah, all religions are bad, kind of thing. Once again, I rambled. I'm sorry. Another question. Does the game focus on a single denomination of Christianity? And this was one I got from a person on Facebook. And I said, the protagonist of the games are non-denominational. This will not be Catholic-based. It will not be Baptist-based. We're not going to say that, oh, here's one character and they're this denomination of Christianity. Here's another and they're that. We're just going to leave it at non-denominational for all of them and say they believe the Bible. They believe the Bible is God's word, and they're going to hold to that. And that's what the game is based off of. Not a matter of, oh, well, this one's a Baptist, so he thinks this should be the way. And, oh, this one's a Catholic, so they think it should be that way. And this one, doesn't listen to worship music, and we're not going to do that. Okay, so Frank asked us a question about character names, and I'm not sure I got that. Would you mind repeating that question? Oh, you do?
I said I don't. I didn't get it.
Okay. If you'll bring that back into the chat, we'll gladly answer it.
Oh, you know what? I think I do see it. Okay, he says, can some characters be named Frank, Cordell, Oscar, etc.?
That is it's kind of an inside joke, but not really, because they're actual people's names. They can be. Now, the thing with that is, and like I said before, I don't mean to choose favoritism, or I'm saying, oh, I named people this because they're my friends. I basically said, I'm so bad at naming, Joanna, why don't you name this for me? And she did. But we will be able to put those names in there with the donation incentives. There are a lot of characters that are actually unnamed at this point, waiting for the donation incentives. And if they do not come in, then I will probably go to babynames.com and scroll through the lists of names and their meanings and find something from that. That's literally how bad I am at this. Some call me Johnny. I can't say I've looked into his work as much as I would like to. And that goes, I think this goes for any YouTube reviewer. We will put the game out there. We will make sure to contact people and let them know, hey, we've got a game here. If you want to look at it and tell us what you think, please do. If we've got people who are asking us if they want to review it, we'll let them review it. And it's the right of, if you want to say freedom of speech, pretty much. They can take it and they can show content from it that we've released and say, okay, here's what I like, here's what I don't like. We don't care if they bash it, it's their opinion. Now, if they want to give us positive feedback and say, okay, I played the demo and it sucked here and here's why, we'll fully accept that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do what some of the indie developers or whatnot have done, where their game gets bashed and then they do a copyright strike or whatever.
Yeah, we will not be like that. we have no intention of halting what people want to say. So if they don't think it's good, we understand that. We can tell you, okay, that's what you are going to say, and we're not going to stop you. I had another question regarding the other voice actors, and yeah, I know I skimmed over those. I did, didn't I? I'm such a horrible, horrible person. Let me go back and pull up the list for that, because I could say all the voice actors by name, but I'm pretty sure I would do some mispronunciation and remembering, incorrect remembering, if you want to say that, on some of these names. So I'll pull up that list. While it's pulling up, once again, if people who are here, if they want to share the stream, please do. And if they have any more questions, if it's just two people asking questions over and over again, it helps because then those questions are answered. And then when we cut this down and make the video, we can say, all right, here are the questions that were answered. We're not going to say, oh, yeah, just two people were asking questions all throughout the chat, and it was horrible. We're going to say, we're glad people ask questions. Here are the answers to those questions. We got one here asking about, let me make sure I don't misread this. The strong fan community. Okay. Oh, wow. We got another question kind of on the same subject. That's nifty. So one says, basically, how are you going to deal with a unsavory fan art? And the other one asking, how would you deal with the fan community? As a indie developer, and I think Sebastian can agree, along with Anthony, we want to be very responsive to anybody who's contacting us, talking to us, trying to send us messages, ask us questions. Now, obviously, we are busy, and we won't be able to always, get right back to you on that. But we want to make sure that we can answer your questions, and we can say, hey, we got your message. We're glad you contacted us. Here's what we think about what you asked, or, here's what I like and what I don't like about some things. It's not a matter of we want to just ignore people and ignore questions from people. It's more or less we want to say, okay, hey, people sent us up. We're glad. On the same note, we have unsavory fan art, and it is in everything. If you do not know what this means, do not look it up. I am saying that right now. But there is such a thing called Rule 34, and it's this horrible, horrible thing on the internet that makes people turn anything into pornography, and it's ridiculous. But I understand that there are people out there like that who have artistic skill, and I'm going to say this, waste it on stuff like that. If we start seeing stuff like that popping up, and it starts popping up even almost as if a representation of the game, we will do something about it. Now, obviously, we will not be able to, put a direct stop to it. And I have no intention of saying, oh, yeah, you're doing that. We don't like it. Stop it. But more or less deterring it from ruining the name of the project. Thank you for asking that, though, because that is a big issue. That is, anybody here who's played Undertale or seen anything on the internet about Undertale knows of its fandom and how it exploded into the non-savory, stuff.
Metaton legs on everything.
Yeah.
So I gotta go to work.
Okay. All right. Well, the stream I think went pretty well.
Get a stream?
I think the stream went pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. What we'll do is we'll hold a little bit of a small text Q&A on the other stuff. But hey, thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, I'll check it out too. I don't know when they're going to be done. Okay, let's clean your room real quick. So, is this up clean? Is that good in there? Okay, and then please help. Because I can't end it if I'm at work. It's a stupid stream!
Hey, Anthony. Anthony.
Oh, sorry, my mic was off.
No, it's fine. Anthony,
yeah.
we're going to go ahead and end the stream here. I
We
will
are.
take what we get on YouTube, cut it up, and make a little Q&A out of it. Thank you to everyone who sent us messages. We know you were a small crowd, but we thank you so much for being here. It really does help, if you want to say, relieve people's fears. And I want to thank Jonathan Cook. He already left, but he was a great help here. You know, representation of one of the guys who's going to be with us. If you want to go check out his work, do so. It's fantastic. All right. Thank you all so much.
Good evening.